Welcome back to the Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and KWalk, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network. All right, guys, I gotta get into this Ryan Clark situation. So as we all know, Saquon Barkley decided to go get his money elsewhere. He ended up signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Just to give you a background, which is a rival to his former team, the New York Giants. And Tiki Barber had a major issue with it. He absolutely had a problem with it. He went off on his own podcast and said, "You are dead to me." Saquon then responded and saying, how can you say that to him? Because you should understand. I'm trying to get the bag before I retire. New York didn't want to give it to him or whatnot. And it was a little back and forth. But then Ryan Clark from the Pivot came in and chimed in. I want you guys to listen to what he had to say. So just bear with me for 2 seconds. I'm getting the video up now. Here it is.
Congrats to Saquon. Saquon earned that deal in Philadelphia, what he had to go through in New York to get through this point, being franchise tagged last year. Now we're going to get to Tiki. Tiki taught me what I didn't want to be as a veteran. Tiki taught me how you don't make a young player feel welcome, how you don't make a young player feel like this could one day be his team. The way he made me feel as a young rookie and a second-year player, I said I don't ever want to be that dude. And he's continued to be that person. Like you said, he left football early, fully expecting to be on the Michael Strahan experience. But you weren't that dude. You also weren't liked and beloved like Saquon Barkley is. You weren't that sort of teammate that everybody rallied around last year. And here's what I do know. I know when I have a relationship with you, when I can joke. I know when I can tell one of the homies or some young man I mentor or a dude I'm tight with, hey man, you're dead to me, because he knows he's never going to be that. He knows the relationship that we've developed is way beyond the jersey that he wears. And don't try to backtrack it once you say it. Don't try to ingratiate yourself to the New York Giants fans who may feel the same way, who you said you're echoing, and then say it's tongue-in-cheek. Nah, stand on it. And when he calls you out, stand on it. And the one thing people like him taught me when I was in that Giants locker room is I'm going to have parties for the rookies when there's nowhere to go on the week they're trying to figure out if they're on the team or not. I'm going to host Bible study. I'm going to make sure you ain't using all your money at rookie parties. I'm going to make you feel like, well, you the OG, that's the way it's supposed to be done. And he never did that, at least as what I could see and the way he was to me as a player. And he's continuing to act the same sort of way in the media. And it's a reason people feel the way that he does, and nobody wraps their arms around him as a former player.
So I want to get your thoughts on this. Yeah, it was a little rough. I want to get your thoughts on this. Jay, I'm going to come to you first. What are your thoughts on what Ryan Clark had to say about Tiki Barber?
Yeah, so that was my first time hearing that. And I'm kind of, I feel like two things can be true in this situation. So when Tiki says you're dead to me, one of the bad things, obviously, about tweeting and X and stuff like that is it's very hard to understand the tone of it, right? Like, is he really going at him? Is he saying it as a joke? Do they have a relationship? Like, so I don't want to say that I understand Tiki's tone in this situation, because maybe he was just saying it in jest. I don't know, right? But obviously Saquon took offense to it, right? So I'm not going to kill Tiki for the tweet, because I don't really know if he was serious or he was just messing around. But so, Jay, go ahead.
It was a video. He said it.
Oh, he said it in the video? Okay. But I do think like what Ryan Clark was saying is true. Like, to me, Tiki does give off that vibe. Like, I don't think there's any question about that. So if Ryan Clark's saying like he made it tough on rookies, he wasn't a great teammate, he just is kind of a standoffish, he kind of gives off the I'm better than you kind of vibe to me. So I think all of that it could definitely be true about Tiki. But at the same time, I didn't see the video of what he said, but was he trying to kill Saquon? Was he just like messing around? Was he like just being a fan of the Giants? I don't want to make too much of a big deal out of that part.
So, Jay, when he said it seemed like he meant it. I'm gonna be honest with you. He walked it back. but it did seem like he meant it. And he was just like, "You better not go to Philly." And most of the times when somebody's joking, they smile, they
Yeah,
laugh, you know,
yeah.
somewhat in that nature. It didn't feel that way when you watched the video. At least I didn't take it that way. And when
Okay.
I watched it, I said, "Well, I'm curious to know what Saquon thinks about this." And then later on, after Saquon expressed how he felt about it, that's when he tried to say it's tongue in cheek. I was just joking. You can't take a joke. Unless you have a very dry sense of humor, I would take that as a joke because um, there was just there was nothing funny behind it,
Right.
for me. But I get where Saquon is kind of coming from. I feel like they didn't have much of a relationship. I really honestly don't. I don't think they had much of a relationship in how Saquon responded.
Yeah.
He basically was like, stop acting like we've always been close. In reality, we've really never been close,
Right.
And so when you see me, you better be ready, basically. Not saying he's gonna physically harm him, but in other words, just saying, don't be fake in my face. If this is how you really feel.
Yeah.
I just think Tiki did go a little overboard because he is a former player. He should understand that, Saquon's a little older. He's 27 years old. He's a running back. In this day and age, it's a lot harder for running backs to get paid than it was during maybe Tiki's time. And if the Eagles was willing to pay him, it's kind of like he's going home, although it's a little bit further from Philly. I know people want to relate Penn State and Philly together. It's a little bit further out.
Yeah.
It is the state of Pennsylvania. You're talking about like 3-hour difference or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to kill Tiki too much. I just don't think he's the most relatable guy on podcasts. I don't.
I
I
agree
can
with
never
that.
relate to the guy. I don't understand him. I don't get where he's trying to come off. I agree with you, Jay. I think he feels like he's better than a lot of people. In my opinion, he comes off across that way. So I just think he needs to watch, especially if you don't have that relationship with that particular player. Just kind of watch what you say sometimes because some people can be made offensive. Now, at the same time, maybe Saquon shouldn't be too sensitive at the same time. And just say, man, whatever. He's just being the podcast media person. Let's just move on. So it just felt like it was a little bit of history behind it. But as far as Ryan Clark, if Ryan Clark seems like he's kind of backing Saquon through his own experiences, that tells a lot. I've never really heard any other players say, you know what, Tiki Barber was that good guy. Tiki Barber had my back. That we hear a lot of these leaders or these older players get when they leave the league. So it's going to be interesting how this goes. But KWalk, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, just listening to everything, man. When I first heard this, and Tiki Barber was talking about loyalty. Was that his pretty much his loyalty?
Yeah,
Really?
loyalty, giant. Yeah.
If I was Saquon Barkley, I'd have checked them. I'm like, are you serious about this? Is this tongue in cheek? Is this a joke? Because we get it. It's Giants, Eagles, but we talking about loyalty, brother. I would have taken it a step further. I'm like, 8 months pregnant, and you left me. You left me away. I would have went there. Bam! I would have went there. That's only because you guys mentioned him about being a stand-up guy, being that man, and you got to look at that from that aspect of it. I'm just simply saying, come on, bro. I'm going there with you. Don't talk about loyalty with me. As far as on the football field, and that's where I'm going with it. That's what I would have went with it. Personally. So listen, the age-old saying, people who live in glass houses should not throw stones. So you telling somebody about loyalty and they getting paid, they're doing something good for their family by making this move. Come on now, Tiki. Come on, Tiki. Let's be real about this, Tiki. Let's be real. You're the last person I would come to talk to about loyalty, brother. I swear to you, brother. I leave that loyalty talk to someone else, man. Don't get involved in that conversation. You never ever again engage yourself with the loyalty conversation. I'm gonna leave it at that.
KWalk.
Ooh, wait a minute. I just got hot. It's hot in here.
Come on, man.
Wait a minute.
KWalk. That's a mic drop right there.
This don't stand for Barbara. It stands for Brittany or Barkley. We don't. Based on what KWalk said, this does not stand for nothing related to Barber. My goodness, that's a mic drop. If I could lift my mic and drop it, I would have. Ooh, KWalk, man, you went hard on that one. My response is like,
that's not even my rant today, ladies and gentlemen. That's not even my
rant. But you know what though? You right, KWalk. Like you talk about loyalty, he can't even stay loyal to people he's supposed to love and care for and honor and respect. So he has no loyalty whatsoever. So don't get on this young man about loyalty. It's not right. Especially again, New York didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to pay him at all. So where was the law? And Saquon has stayed there for as long as he could, and he has said, "I want to be a Giant forever." But at the same time, this young man, just like Tiki had, I guess you could say at one point, a family. So does Saquon. Saquon has a family. He's trying to take care and make sure his family is okay. So where's the loyalty from the Giants to say, you know what? You have done so much for us, even when we didn't even put a team around you. You were the team, basically. So let's go protect you and make sure that you're good, and also so that you could stay with us for the rest of your career. So they weren't loyal to him.
Nope.
So he don't have to be loyal to them. It is what it is. Whoo, KWalk. They got me. Woo, boy. Just on that one. Any final thoughts on this, Jay? Any last thoughts, or let's move on?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is like with some of the older players, Britt, is that like they just have to realize the NFL is different now. Like it's not the NFL that they played in. There's more player movement. There's never really been loyalty from the team to the player. And now with player movement and the players have opportunity to make money, they got to take it. It's a short career. So I just think some of the older players just need to realize this is not the NFL you played in. Things are different now.
Absolutely. And real quick from our guy, KSAT from Simply Ball dropping podcast, he said, just like my girl Anita said, giving you the best that I got.
Yes, sir.